Okay, so I saw the Barbie movie, and it was awesome. And I decided it would be a great way to use it to teach girls about DevOps for Grace Hopper. But taking it to scale, everybody's like a DevOps engineer, so I was like, we're gonna have to change this up. So I decided to make it more of a cautionary tale about the ways that things go wrong when we don't pay attention to the human aspect and to the way that we incorporate DevOps kind of methodology and how we make that work at scale. So this is more of the re-architecting DevOps Barbie. So before we get there, I'll tell you a little bit about me. So currently a product manager at Microsoft. Hi, boss. Used to be an SDE on the Credo team at AWS. I do a podcast with our lovely friend in the front seat. The chicken only shows up for conferences, apparently, but many other things show up for our podcast. Our podcast is Fork Around and Find Out. We used to ship it together. I'm on the education board for MilSpouse Coders. I really enjoy teaching women how to code and helping women to find careers in technology. I have 3 feral but very cute children and a college student, so if you see him around, help him get an internship or a job so I can stop paying for all his stuff. I have a slight coffee obsession that isn't obvious from all of my... Wow, Justin? Did you see... Okay, all my social media handles may be with enough coffee because I think I can take over the world if we caffeinate me enough. And tacos are life. So, the beginning of the Barbie movie starts, and Barbie lives in this perfect world where the patriarchy doesn't exist, feminism is amazing, and you build stuff and it works the first time and there's no bugs. Has anyone experienced building anything in that type of a world? Because I haven't. So Barbie gets this idea and she's going to build a startup with her friends, right? So she's got this great idea. They're going to make this product. They set out on this wonderful journey where you build stuff once, you design it, you get your requirements, and then it just magically works forever because maintaining software isn't hard or anything, right? So you've built, you've tested it, you've gone and stayed up all the long nights, and you're ready to release. People start using it, funding starts rolling in, and everything's great. All of a sudden, humans are using your product, and they start using it in all of the wrong ways that you did not attend. You came up with all the edge cases that you can expect it, and somebody starts using it in ways that make absolutely no sense, and they found all of the edge cases you didn't. They're asking for new features. We've got bugs and regressions, and now it's Barbie's job to get all of this out while still having a good uptime and making it highly available. Anybody ever felt like this at work? A little bit. So, she's not dead. She's just having a little bit of an existential crisis because she's now learned what it feels like to maintain software. She's trying to patch bugs, get them out as fast as possible, and do a manual release process. Instead of using an iterative release process that has a feedback loop. We'll never know what that's called. Funding rolls in and she thinks, okay, we'll hire a bunch more engineers and everything will fix itself, right? Even with version control, hiring a bunch more engineers and hoping that they can all work together and onboard the same, in that you'll be able to not incur huge breaking changes with no rollbacks and not knowing where you hit your road bumps. Barbie is still struggling. Now the engineers are pissed because everybody's code is colliding. We've got merge conflicts. On-call sucks. And everybody is very unhappy. They go talk to Weird Barbie. Weird Barbie's like, look, you can have perfect. You can just decide that you're going to ignore real life and building things. Or you can go to the real world and figure it out. Barbie tries to pick perfect, but Weird Barbie's like, dude, that's not how this works. Sorry, you have to go to the real world. She tells her about these really cool concepts like agile, DevOps, automating all the boring stuff. And Barbie's like, okay, fine. If that's going to solve the problems, keep the engineers happy, and keep the startup afloat, I'll go to the real world. Ken apparently invites himself, because he does that to everything, and all he does is beach. They venture off into the real world to figure out what agile, DevOps, and iterative development is like. So this talk isn't really about CI/CD necessarily, because I think everyone in this room knows what DevOps is. But there has to be more of, you can't just fix technology, right? There's human aspects to it, and we have to make it better for humans to build it. We have to make it easier to onboard people and to have everybody have a seat at the table to build good software. And I think sometimes, especially now in the current climate, it's just be as technical as possible when people skills are a little important with engineering being a team sport. So Barbie starts doing a lot of research and testing with automation. She gets a lot of alarms and pages. Implementing things can be kind of hard. It sounds great online in Google until you have to do it in real life, and then it can be like a little crazy and feel like you're on a ride. Barbie calls a senior engineer she used to work with at her old company, and she's like, dude, I thought it was supposed to get better. That's the face the engineer gave. She's like, I've got some secrets for you. You can have all the automation and DevOps you want, but if you're not getting a good feedback loop and you're not listening to everybody's perspectives, also you have no observability or monitoring. How do you think you're going to find your problems and then work to improve them? So she goes back to the drawing board. She talks to her council of Barbies. Lawyer Barbie talks about how you can both be emotional and logical, and it doesn't diminish your power, right? One of the most important things that we have going for us in tech is the human aspect. Has anybody seen anything on the news that was a technical flop that we all knew was a bad idea, and because one person that didn't have any friends that looked different than them weren't there to say, this is a bad idea? Like, a lot. Sometimes having someone to just be very honest and having a safe environment to say, dude, don't build that, please, is really important. So apparently Ken and Barbie had very different views of going to the real world. Barbie decided she really likes test-driven development and DevOps. Ken came back with like Chad-driven development and being a 10x engineer. We don't know where this is going to go wrong at all. Ken's decided he knows how everything works. He built everything. There's no need for documentation. What do you mean a customer feedback loop? He doesn't care about the customers like it. He wants to build cool things because that's what engineers do. He doesn't care about educating or growing junior developers. He's going to do it all by himself. He doesn't need other people. I intentionally left out my favorite aspect of building things. You can have the coolest, best distribution operating system product, but if you forget to secure it, nobody's going to use it. So, we didn't talk about, Barbie didn't think about least privileges or security or any of that. And Ken takes over the Barbie dream house and makes it Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa. So now Barbie not only has a mutiny going on, she's got security problems, and she's got to deal with that. Okay, so Barbie calls DevOps Barbie, Security Barbie, CISO Barbie, Architect Barbie, and they come up with a plan. First of all, they kill Ken's credentials, kick him out of all of the infrastructure. They start building changes to artifacts and make sure everything undergoes constant and frequent automated testing. So they incentivize documentation, education, and mentorship programs while automating all the boring stuff and making testing a part of development. They also take into consideration cost, because while the startup's doing really good and it's flush with cash, if you save money, you save people, especially in this current market. Ken decides being a malicious actor is not for him. He's really disappointed that there's not as many horses as he thought in the patriarchy, and he's lost interest. So, moral of the story is, when you give people diverse perspectives and a safe place, and you take everybody's opinion and you take their superpowers that they all bring to the table, some people are not the fastest developers. Some people are maybe really good at front end or really good at back end or whatever, but everybody is teachable. And well, not everybody, we all know that one dude at work but for the most part. But it's more about investing and teaching people and getting people on the same page, right? So, giving people the freedom to fail, making sure that software maintenance and collaboration become expected, making sure you have a place to roll back when experimenting, efficient software development, and making sure that you actually care about the people that are using your stuff, so you actually make competitive software. Because if you don't secure it and if you don't build it well and listen to your customers, your competitors will do it. Automation helps with less human error, but you need good humans to actually write the automation first. That's my talk.
Thank you so much. Comments, questions?
We all know the first movie did very well, right? It was a blockbuster. So that they're going to go for a sequel. So can you predict what's going to happen in the sequel at all? Any ideas?
Work? Do I have to move my hair? Okay, cool. So I think it's gonna be a megla tech millionaire that doesn't go to therapy, and he takes over a whole government, and then the Barbies have to save it. Cause that would be such a good story, right? It would be kind of unbelievable, but where would we get it? And then they'll just do a lot. Can you imagine? I can give a whole security talk about not securing databases. We could talk about just giving everyone access to all of your personal identifiable information and not, right? But that would be just too unbelievable, and we would it would be a little far-fetched though. Totally. Any other questions? Thank you guys for all coming. This is kind of a silly talk.
Thank the speaker again.